This is the attic find the most people have ever sent me. Hey, it's Mike. Thanks for tuning back in. So before I get started on this unbelievable hockey card find, and I think my first ever hockey card attic find Friday, I want to say I'm headed to Dallas next week on Sunday, actually. So I won't be doing this clearing the bases on Sunday. I aim to do it on Saturday morning instead. So you'll have a Saturday clearing the bases. No video Sunday, although I'm hoping to do a live stream at Mike Moynihan's house in Dallas or near Dallas Sunday night. And then next week's kind of up in the air. I definitely won't have an attic find Friday on Friday. I'm traveling and it's my birthday. So no attic find Friday next week. During the week, I have a couple of videos teed up, ready to go. We'll see if I have time to upload them. We'll see. So stick with me. All right. Attic Find Friday this week on Friday, which is amazing. And I just received an offer for sponsorship of Attic Find Friday. I'm running pretty low on Attic Find Friday stories, but we'll see. We'll see. I'm considering it. We'll see. All right. So 1979-80. I was born in 79, and I've considered, I would love to have PSA graded pack from each of the four major sports from 1979. And baseball, it's easy. You can get a PSA 7 PSA graded baseball pack from 1979 tops for like $100. Basketball's even easier. It's less than $100. Football, I don't remember football now, but hockey is much, much more difficult because it's Wayne Gretzky's rookie year. Of course, tops is much cheaper than an O-Pee-Chee, but you're still talking about thousands of dollars for an unopened pack authenticated by PSA. So probably not going to be able to do that, but I guess it kind of becomes maybe easier after this find comes out in the open. So a man who was a collector in the 70s and had countless cases, according to his family, and boxes of hockey cards, massive hockey collector in Saskatchewan, Canada, had so many that his family didn't know what he had. And they were digging through his collection in their house and found it behind stacks and stacks of stuff in his collection, a full case of 1979-80 O-Pee-Chee hockey cards. O-Pee-Chee. I always pronounce that wrong. O-Pee-Chee. So the box was labeled 1980 because O-Pee-Chee used the second year in the year designation. So it's 1979 to 80, and they would call it a 1980 box. So the son of the person who owned this popped open the corner of the box to look inside and found that the boxes inside were white. And 1979-80 boxes were white, 1980-81 boxes were blue. So he knew he had the mother lode. Now, they decided to consign this with Heritage. It's currently up on Heritage at $1.575 million, expected to go for over $2 million. 2.5 to 3 is what Heritage is saying. It is an unbelievable find. And I want to know, if you could afford it, would you buy it and open them? Or would you buy it to stash away as an investment? Would you want to open it and see how many Gretzkys you can find and how much you could grade them for? Let's talk a little bit about how many you might find here. So they did bring it to BBCE, Baseball Card Exchange, where Steve Hart authenticated it. He said it looked like it had been shipped from O-Pee-Chee yesterday. It was flawless. Some of the nicest boxes he's ever seen before. And this is a 44-year-old box. So pretty amazing. In the case, there are 16 boxes of cards. Each box has 48 packs. Each pack has 14 cards. Now, my understanding is that the tops from that year, wax packs, only had 10 cards. And when Heritage listed this, they said it had 10 cards per pack, and somebody had to correct them, which is really fascinating to me, that a company like Heritage gets this wrong. So they have a correction up on the listing. It's 14 cards per pack because O-Pee-Chee had 14 cards per pack. Tops had 10. Now, with that number, there are 10,752 cards expected to be in a case. With a 397 card set, you can expect, and Heritage says, up to 27 Wayne Gretzky's or more. Up to 27 or more, it just seems like such a weird turn of phrase. It could be anything. Could be any number is what they're saying. So expect it to be roughly 27 is what they should have said. Just based on the math, 27 Gretzky rookie O-Pee-Chee cards. And what does that mean? PSA, in the PSA population, there are approximately 11,000 1979-80 Gretzky O-Pee-Chee cards. To put that into perspective, there are about 25,000 Jordan 86 Fleer, Michael Jordan 86 Fleer. So it's more than 2 to 1 Jordan to Gretzky rookies O-Pee-Chee, of course. And Jordan doesn't have an O-Pee-Chee. It's got star, but whatever. Out of the 11,000 in the PSA population, 2 of them, 2, have been graded a 10. That is, according to my math, 0.02% of the submissions have been 10s. And I'll talk about what those 10s have gone for. There are 321 Michael Jordans that have graded a 10. That is 1.3%. So 6 to 7 times the percentage get a 10 for Jordan. Now, it gets worse than that for the Gretzkys. There are 93 9s. That's 0.8% 9s. So you add those two up, it's still barely more than 0.8%. 0.02% plus 0.8%, 0.82% are 9s or 10s, are mint. For Jordan, there are over 3,000 Jordan 9s for the 86 Fleer. That's greater than 10% of the population. So between the two, you're talking about 12% of Jordans are mint, 9s or 10s, which is 15 to 20 times the percentage of Gretzky, or the likelihood. We'll stick with percentage of Gretzky's that are mint. Going over values, the 2 of the O-Pee-Chee just sold for about $677, a PSA 2. So you know this is a very valuable card when a 2 can sell for $1,000, and they have. They certainly have before. A 6, PSA 6, just sold for $4,250. The 10, there are 2 10s. One of them sold in 2020 for $1.29 million through Heritage. It was the first hockey card to reach $1 million. Pretty cool. Now the other 10 sold for 3 times that 2 years later in 2022 for $3.75 million, also through Heritage, but this one was through a private sale. $3.75 million. The last 9 sold for $132,000. Publicly, we're talking. That's pretty standard. The 9s in this was in 2022, by the way. Publicly, no 9 sold in 2023. In 2022, they were selling for between $125 and $150. In 2021, they were going for upwards of $250,000. The 9s, but right now, about 1.25. One. I don't know. Is that how rich people talk? $125,000. So, with 27 of them, if you got 27 9s, you'd be in the clear. If you got a couple of 10s, you'd be in the clear. But the chances are so low. I like to think that somebody's going to open these, but I have a hard time believing that they will. I really want to know. So on the 10s, one of the risks with O-Pee-Chee, you got the gum, and the O-Pee-Chee gum leaches through cards, if I remember correctly. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that the O-Pee-Chee gum was really worse on the cards than Topps gum was. And then you also have the tough edges of the O-Pee-Chee cut, famous for that. But PSA and SGC both account for that. They expect it and they like it to be like that. And you can see here on one of the 10s, it has that rough edge from the way they were cut back then by O-Pee-Chee. So let me know in comments, what would you do with this? Would you open it and grade it? I always wonder how many of these things are just sitting in somebody's closet. Like, people say, well, every Jordan rookie has been graded by PSA or SGC. Well, there are plenty of collectors out there, or former collectors, people who still own their childhood collection, and they're just sitting in a basement or an attic somewhere waiting to be found and waiting for me to tell the story. It's pretty wild to think, if there are 25,000 Jordan rookie cards, are there another 25,000 sitting out there somewhere? It's fun to think about. I want to go knock on all my neighbors' houses. Can I look through your attic? Hey, you got a basement? Can I take a look? What do you got down there? You got any cards? Were you a collector? I'd be tempted. So, all right, let me know what you think in comments. I would love to know if you would open these or stash them away, what you would do if you had the money. Of course, I don't. I've got like $400 from last month's YouTube that I'm trying to figure out how to spend. All right, guys. Hope you have a great weekend. I will see you soon.